It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Stroud is sacked again. Oh, John, swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt, extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole! Here's the give. Walker! Kenneth Walker! Touchdown! Sparty!
Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown to Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's
Out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Tuesday morning to you. It is the 18th day of July, 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And, of course, you can find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. How are you? How's life? How are things? Big rally late for the Tigers last night. What a grab in left field by Akil Baddoo. Oh, man, that's what they needed to get this series started against Kansas City. Couldn't come out there and lay an egg in game one. More on that coming up in a little bit. But how are you, man? How was your Monday evening?
Yeah, a little late last night. Wish, the game didn't really go that slowly. It was probably like 2:40 maybe.
It felt like it was a little bit longer because it was, an 8:10 first pitch, and at 11:20 we were still playing baseball? That makes sense?
No, it wasn't 11:20.
Are you sure?
It was, the game ended around probably, the post-game show started at 10:52.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, probably ended around 10:46, 10:47 maybe.
Okay, so 2.5?
It just seemed longer because if the Kansas City was starting how the Tigers start their games, they would be starting at 7:40 instead of 8:10. You know what I'm saying? Like, that extra half hour really helps here at home.
Yeah, because it's 6:40 their time, and for their team, based on where they're at, I don't understand why they wouldn't do that.
Well, it is hot there. It is very, very, but it's very, very hot in Kansas City in the summertime.
Hotter than L.A.?
I don't think really L.A.
Hotter than Texas?
Well, no, Texas is ridiculous.
Exactly. Just get out there and play. 6:40.
But Texas, their stadium was like 20 years old, and they said, we need a new stadium because it's too hot here. So Texas got a new stadium just because it's too hot there. So, yeah, that's the difference. KC's outside.
Get them outside. That's what it means. It's great to be with you. Day 2 of our Up North tour, coming to you live from the Country Club of BOYNE. Yesterday, we are now officially 54 holes in on this tour with a 36-hole bender yesterday. But as you can see, as the sun begins to kind of peek its head up and the fog lifts a little bit at the beautiful Country Club of BOYNE, the bar is no more than 15 feet in front of me, which is behind the camera if you are streaming or watching. So I'll be back there intermittently, between between the breaks. So if I come back and my words are slurred, it might sound like a normal Tuesday, but we're having an absolute blast here at BOYNE. Got in. Renovations to the rooms. Didn't realize my man Ken was going to set me up in the presidential suite. Oh my goodness, the snack jars. Let's not even talk about the snack jars. Discipline is going to be the key on this trip. We can't be out here all willy nilly, just eating everything in sight. That's not gonna be good for the physical fitness. So we'll take it easy on the snack jars, and we'll talk to Ken coming up in hour number 3. But just excited to be back here at BOYNE. It's been a couple of years since we've done this tour, and where we got to go up and really connect with our audience here in northern Michigan. Walking around yesterday at the Grand Traverse was great to be able to meet people, and people that stopped by after the show as we're tearing things down, and to be able to get out on the courses and explain. People ask, where you're from, what are you doing, and you start to get into it a little bit. They're like, really, where can I hear this up here? And that's that's the goal, and that's why we love to be able to do it and showcase some of the great venues that make northern Michigan a must for all Michiganders.
I was actually on a golf trip. I've been hearing about this guy, Tuna. His nickname is Tuna. I've been hearing about him for 15 years. From
a guy named Tuna?
His name is Dan also, but his nickname is Tuna. And I had never met him until this past week, and he lives in Grand Rapids. And he's like, "You're on X's and Bros? I listen all the time. Are you going to give me a shout out?"
Yo, shout out to the big Tuna. Where did you meet Tuna at?
On the golf trip.
And he was
he's a friend of a friend. Yes, he's a friend of a friend. And I finally met him after 15 years. And he listens to the show.
See, look at that connection right there. That's the beauty of it, man. That's the great part of being out and about and being able to connect and meet with people. They actually had a league scramble going on, so we're rolling right through. And we played in each one of these updated carts, they have these monitors that the monitors you can even connect your phone to the monitor for the speakers. So I mean the carts they wheel these things off like the Rolls Royce Caravan, if you will. And so we're making our way around the course, and we got to, I want to say 12 or 13. We played through one group on the front, and it'll tell you basically where you're at on pace of play. We got to hole 13, and we were 68 or 78 minutes ahead of pace of play. And it doesn't even feel, and that was in the evening round at the Monument at BOYNE, right? So, that's my pace. I'm just throwing that out there. So we ran into they have a league night. They had 8 guys on the hole, and they play a scramble. So they were great. They're like, oh, yeah, just cut through here and then drive over there. You'll be 2 holes in front of us, and you can come back around on the backside. We're like, okay, that's great. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. But, just zooming around the golf course is my pace of play. The first 18 earlier in the day, oh, my goodness. You know what I always say? You guys know what I always say. You could play good golf. You could play bad golf. But you got to play fast golf. I don't know what green jacket the 2 foursomes in front of us were playing for, or how many hundreds of millions of dollars every putt was worth. But heavens to Betsy. And sometimes, here's another great saying from Kyle Barlow, the coach, who joins us a little bit later on in the program today. Pride has killed more men than cancer. You don't need to play the tips if you don't carry your 5-iron more than 210 yards. Plain and simple. That's what it is. That's what it is. You don't have to go all the way back there. You don't have to go play a course like the Barrett Grand Traverse where you're not going to have a chance. That's not a user-friendly sort of venue there. That is just going to beat you up and down like Mike Tyson. That's how I felt. I didn't feel defeated because I was having a great time, but I did feel like the course was literally handing it to me. You can't be out there. I get if it's a bucket list thing, sure. But don't go out there and stress yourself out and play from the black tees or the blue tees. Get up there. Why would you make a par 5 550 to 600 yards when you could play it at 450 or 475? And for your group and your skill level, that's perfectly fine.
Dude, yeah, we played the blue black, the split.
The combos, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They make all the par 5s really long and then the par 3s really short. It was, yeah, I don't think anybody got there in 2 on any of the par 5s. We had a bunch of those 565 par 5s, and we had a 475 par 4.
Wow, Scottish Open had one that played 488. So just to put into the realm of how far that is in comparison to what PGA guys are playing, like that's in their wheelhouse. We'll step aside. Be right back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
deaf on the
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team over at Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes are ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the state of Michigan. Tullymore Golf Resort offers not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Tullymore not only features top-of-line golf, but also top-of-line accommodations and the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. TullymoreGolf.com. TullymoreGolf.com or call 1-800-972-4837. That's Matt Golden's personal cell phone number, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. By the way, update on the random person that we met at the wedding in Phoenix and the wedding that's coming up at Tullymore. It's going to be on Friday. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. Why wouldn't we stop? Why not? Why wouldn't we stop? Seems to be some belief that you can't just show up at somebody else's wedding. I'm like, did you pack wedding clothes? I packed wedding clothes. I'm ready to go. Why wouldn't we stop and say hi? I'm not saying we got to sit there and eat and take up a plate. No, we pop in after dinner. They do the first dance or whatever. We walk around. We schmooze a little bit. People are like, hey, who are you guys? Like, oh, we met the bride in Phoenix, and then saw her again at Put-in-Bay. Like, why wouldn't we do that? It makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I've ever crashed a wedding per se like that.
It's not really crashing because we at least know
it is. I mean, yeah, but it is. You weren't really invited. You're going to be drinking the free booze, I would assume.
Well, yeah.
Are you going to bring a card? Are you going to put a card in the box?
I mean, of course. You ain't showing up empty-handed. Never show up anywhere empty-handed.
Hey, it's fair game, I guess.
I walked in with a cheese ball for Ken no less than 35 minutes ago. Can't go anywhere empty-handed.
You ever gotten a cheese ball, Ryan?
Man, that was a...
No, never gotten anything.
What did Judge Smales, the great resident club president, once say? You'll get nothing and like it.
I have to like it. I don't care about getting anything. More an indifference.
Well, hey, I'm telling you, one of those changed your life. It's Lucille's famous recipe.
I wouldn't know.
I will mark that down. That will be in.
Don't send a cheese ball in the mail. That will not go well.
No, they hand drop it off. We're not gonna throw that piece of art in the mail so it can come out like a cheese football. Speaking of that, wanted to let everybody know, update you a little bit because obviously he's a friend of the show. He contributes. Dad's surgery went A-OK yesterday, which is great. Took a little bit longer than they thought. They originally expected hour and a half, 2 hours. It went into the 2.5 realm.
That kid was a human dynamo.
He said, and I don't quite understand, I'm going to have to get further details on this, but he wasn't under full anesthesia for the surgery. They did something where they numbed his arm, and he was trying to text me. Good thing he's left-handed, and it's his right arm that was affected. But he was telling me that he couldn't feel anything. I said, well, be careful. He's like, it's just flopping around. I can't even control it. I said, well, I understand, but you gotta put that thing in a harness.
I wish we recorded that.
You're not. You can go back to the podcast and cut it. So he's A-OK. I'm sure he's not awake yet, but I know I can guarantee it was a very, very long day for my mother. So, but at least they made it through. It's day 2 of the Up North tour. We're coming to you live from the Country Club of BOYNE as the sun is coming up. And I was actually just asking my friend Ken over here about what the weather has been like, because the courses are lush, like everything's green, and it hasn't necessarily been the rainiest of summer seasons. Like, it's been hot, it's been dry.
Yeah, I played a local course. I played a local course last week, and I could not believe how green it was out there. You're right. It is green. I don't know if these courses are just like we're spending the money on the sprinklers or what, because, yeah, it's been green everywhere.
I mean, look at it back there. Look how green that is. I couldn't believe it. And Ken was laughing. He said, yeah, well, it could be kind of scorched earth. And the last couple of weeks, we've had some really, we've gotten some rain. I mean, it rained last night, and it rained hard there for 20 minutes, and then poof, was done. So we began our trek from the Grand Traverse where we were at yesterday, and then went over to BOYNE Mountain, and then from BOYNE Mountain came up here. I got to look over just to confirm. And so it's probably from where we're at in Traverse City, about 30 minutes over to BOYNE Mountain. That's where you can play the Alpine and the Monument. And one of the things I want to bring to your attention is, if you are a family of 4, they have something right by the golf course, Dad. So you'll like this. The Beach House, I think, is what it's called, and they're like condominiums that overlook Deer Lake. And they have, in the space between the pro shop, it's across a road, and then they have like tennis courts and some open areas for you, some volleyball, things of that nature. I basically like activity parkland space, right? And then from there, you get to these beach house condos that overlook the water. That is a brilliant idea. That right there, especially if you and your friends have kids, and there is a way to do a group family outing. Beach house is where it's at. Kids love the water. Throw some floaties on them. Throw them in the lake. They'll be fine. They'll figure it out. They'll tire themselves out, right? Mom's on the beach. They get the charcuterie board with the bottle of wine. Dad's hit the golf course. I mean, this is a win-win across the board. And I saw that, and I was like, man, that is such a good idea to have that posted right there on the beach. Easy access to walk across the street. Plus, like I said, that activity area kind of in the middle where the kiddos can run around. So that's great. The Monument, first time played there, right? So I'm Country Club of BOYNE here today, about 30 minutes north. We're just past Petoskey in that region, so you can figure it out top of your ring finger if you have your handy dandy hand map out. And the Monument, to me, is very much like quintessential up north golf. Like, you are going to get the majestic views. You're going to get the huge drop-offs, where you're hitting a tee shot and you're going to go down 50 feet. You're going to go down 75 feet. You're going to get a course that really feels like up north, and a course that for someone like me walking up to the tee box can be absolutely devastating if you can't control the golf ball. Like, driver, I would say we've got a 30% success rate right now. Like, it's cost us some strokes out here. But I've been disciplined. I've been hitting 3-wood and just mashing that thing and hitting 2-iron off the tees, because it's like, hey, why not? If it's a par 5, we don't necessarily need to get there in 2, but it would be nice, but we don't have to. But there are a couple holes where they've put these, the bunkers are so steep, they have stairs to get into them on a few holes, but then they have these wood planks. And I think it was maybe on the first hole, I tried to cut my ball around the corner. I end up in the trees, but I got a punch, right? I have life. And I'm like, okay, 2-iron. I'm going to punch this thing. I'm going to run it through the sand, up the wood plank. It's going to shoot into the air, drop onto the green, and I'm going to make a 3. I'm convinced I'm going to do this, right? I fire this 2-iron, and the punch, we're low in the trees. I mean, this thing is humming, right? But the problem is it didn't get down on the ground to roll through the sand and up the plank. What it did is it smacked the plank dead into it, and then shot about 50 feet in the air, came back over this giant bunker backwards towards me, left me with a solid chip. But it was one of those things. My Gian looked at me and said, "Oh man, you smacked the bleep out of that." I said, "Yeah, this might actually work." And it hit the wood plank. He's like, "Dude, I thought that was rubber." I said, "No, those are wood planks." And pew, shot right up. He did the same thing. He airmailed his straight into the sky. Looked like it was going to be perfect. Somehow ended up about 20 yards short of the flagstick. Hit the plank, pew, right back at him. It was great. Really, really fun course. Really great opportunity. And would highly recommend that there at BOYNE Mountain. We'll step aside when we return. Tigers and Royals. Tigers down 2-0 late in the game and rally for the first win of the series. We'll get into that next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Doran Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Doran Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Step into a world of nonstop action over at the DraftKings Casino. You can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. You can do that right now. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE. That's promo code HUGE. And get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds, only on the DraftKings Casino app, only using the promo code HUGE. Disclaimer time. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only, one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus amount require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Speaking of Huge, did you see that Huge is doing a long drive competition? You know, the Huge Show with Bill Simonson, weekdays from 3 to 6, all across Michigan here on the Michigan Sports Network. Did you guys know about that?
I did not. That's awesome.
Okay, so he is...
Wait. He is competing in one, or he is hosting one?
Okay, so I saw...
Or both.
I saw a tweet that said, hey, our friends at Bud and Bud Light want you to come out and put your best drive against mine. You'll pay $5 or whatever and get so many shots. You get the best drive to see if you can outdrive me. And then someone had tweeted that to me because I didn't see it. Somebody tweeted to me like, oh, I want to see you in Huge. Like, I want to see you take on Huge. I said, see me do what? And he's like, get in the long drive. I said, build Walmarts between our golf balls, and then, they're in Meyer between our golf balls. And he's like, oh, my God. I said, and his response was Jesus. And I said, do you know him? Because you're going to need him. You better call him. I told him, hey, Chief, you better drink yourself a muscle milk. Do some stretching beforehand. He's like, I think 300 can do it. I said, 300? You think 300 is going to do it? Out of your mind. Might be a good drive, but that ain't gonna work. You're gonna lose your long drive competition. Last night, and I hope he's listening right now and hears this because I'm ready all day, every day. Just got to stretch. The Detroit Tigers last night, 3-2 winners. Here's Matt Shepard's call of Matt Vierling, a tale of two Matts, handing the Tigers their first lead with this 2-run double.
To right field and down. Green will score. Here comes Torkelson. Carpenter on his way to third. Vierling with a 2-run double to give the Tigers a lead.
And using that right side of the diamond, gets a pitch that he can get inside, and he whistles that ball down the right field line. And that's a big 2-out knock with a good piece of hitting by Matt Vierling.
Clutch piece of hitting by Vierling.
Incredibly clutch by Matt Vierling because it wasn't looking good up to that point. And that was I wasn't going to turn it off because the Royals had scored 2 in the fourth and we couldn't get anything cooking last night. And that's in the top of the 8th inning. The Tigers put a 3-spot up on the board. That was that was the ball game right there. They wind up winning 3-2. Tigers score 3 runs on 5 hits. Did make 2 errors. Kansas City 2 runs on 6 hits. No errors for the Royals. Tigers kept the holy number of discipline. We're looking at team total strikeouts per game. They kept it under 10. They only had 9. Akil Baddoo, who was 2 for 4. He had 2 of those strikeouts. Zach McKinstry in the leadoff spot, 0 for 4 with 2 Ks. That's not good. Riley Green was 0 for 3, but did score a run. Spencer Torkelson was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Also drew a walk. Also scored a run. So that was good. Carpenter was 1 for 2 with an RBI and a couple of walks drawn. That's fantastic. How good has Carpenter been? In the DH spot, hitting .277 right now. I know comparatively speaking, that's not great among league standards, but for a team that is struggling to find anybody to hit over 250, that's fantastic. And now when you start to look at kind of the top of the order, but the middle of it, right? So you have Riley Green, Torque, Carpenter, Vierling. Torque's the only guy not hitting 271 or better. Riley's hitting 295. Carey's hitting 277. Vierling's hitting 271. Like, that's fantastic. Then you follow that up with your boy. Oh, poor Maton. Just really, really struggling. 0 for 4 last night. Couple of strikeouts. 160 is the average. That might be all she wrote there. Andy Ibanez was 1 for 3 with a walk drawn. Like I mentioned, Akil Badu at the bottom of the order, 2 for 4, run scored, 2 strikeouts, hitting .227, made a great grab in the outfield last night that definitely saved some damage to be done. And Eric Haas, rough night at the dish for him, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. So outside of Maton, though, everybody hitting better than 200. That's a huge positive. McKinstry had just a god-awful game there in the leadoff spot. But outside of that, we're starting to see things kind of, pick up a little bit. And I didn't want to lose last night's game because 1-4 against the Royals, we just got done talking yesterday morning about, you go to Kauffman Stadium. It's a series that you can win. It's the Kansas City Royals, for the love of God. They've been awful this year. The only team that can compete with them at the bottom of the barrel is the Oakland A's. I mean, they've just been dismal franchises this season. And, for Matt Manning to go out there, a good outing, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, neither of which was earned. Struck out 3 through 81 pitches. His ERA sits at 3.12 after the outing. Like, he had a really nice. That's a fine start. That's a fine start. 14 out of the 20 batters faced for Matt Manning, he hit him with first pitch strikes. That's a great number. Let's get ahead in the count, right? And let's see if we can go 5 or more innings to lessen the load a little bit on the back end of the bullpen. And all in all, like, a good game. 2:36 was your final game time there, Dan, in case you're wondering. That's what it went down in the old box. The run line was 9.5, so we were way under that. Detroit was the favorite on the money line at minus 130, and they'll go into game 2 tonight with really, I think that series sweep in 4 games against a major league club is difficult. To go 3-1, that's a very successful road trip. You go 2-2, you feel a little shaky about it. It's the Royals. You lose the series, and then this could be that moment for the Red Wings when they travel to Ottawa, right? I mean, you start circling these things. We get closer and closer and closer to that August 1st trade deadline. The Tigers are definitely going to be moving some pieces, but the question is who gets moved and how competitively, can this team play right now? As with the win, they're 42-51. Right now, only 9 games back of 500. They sit at 5 games back of the Minnesota Twins, who lost last night. Cleveland did win last night. So it goes Minnesota, Cleveland, Detroit, and then you have the White Sox and the Royals rounding it out. By the way, in case you're wondering, the Royals, 21 games back of Minnesota, 16 games back of the Tigers, just to put it in perspective how bad they've been. So the Tigers here.
Well, the Royals,
they're awful.
It's not their.
They're awful.
It's not their team. It's their bullpen. I believe they have 34 losses in which they were leading in the game at some point this season. So it's not just like they compete and then their bullpen comes in and loses them the game.
I think 34 is a correct number. I think it's like 44 blown losses, but 34 of the last 44 games the Royals have had a lead in and lost those games.
That's just terrible.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Kansas
their
City.
bullpen ERA is like damn near 6.
Oh, we know how that feels. You get some good starts, and the bullpen just come in and just blow it.
The bullpens had to carry the load for a good 2.5 months for the Tigers this year.
Yeah, no, I don't mean this year in particular. Years previous, where it's like, hey, we finally got the starting staff like intact, and it's like, here comes the bullpen, and watch the wheels fall off. You know what I'm saying? Like you would get that quality start, and just like boom, blown game. But yeah, no, this year without the Tigers bullpen, they're sitting right there with the Royals. They're having a battle royale for the last spot in the division. If it hasn't been for the strength of the arms in this bullpen and the amount of bullpen days that they've had to patch together. And I think we got to give some credit to A.J. Hinch here. I mean, look, that's timely hitting this one particular game. It's, that's Major League Baseball players being Major League Baseball players. At some point, you're going to have to register some hits and run around the bases and score some runs. But the managerial job that A.J. Hinch has done here with this group, the fact that the lineup has been I don't know who's seen the most injuries in Major League Baseball, but the Tigers got to be in the top 5 most injured teams in the league. He's done a hell of a job. The different bullpen days, even when we don't believe like this might be a great idea because it's gonna, it's going to make life a little bit more difficult later on in the week. AJ Hinch is, he's put together some days here, and he's got a little bit creative with some of his staff, and it's worked out pretty well. And how good was Alex Lang? 15th save of the season, came in through 10 pitches in the inning, struck out 2 batters. That's a really nice way to go there in the 9th inning when you got to come in high leverage situation, come in, close the door, and get out of there. And I love the broadcast. They spin over to the young fella in the stands who had randomly had an Alex Lang jersey. Like, come on, who's got one of those floating around? And he did, and it was an awesome showcase there for that young fella. 3-2 in game number 1. Game number 2 is tonight. As Dan mentioned, they need to start these things earlier. Instead of 8:10, throw the first pitch at 7:40 Eastern time. At 6:40 your time. I mean, we know what the 6:40 start is. We know what that looks like. It's beautiful. And even when the Tigers do turn things around and become a World Series contender again tomorrow, don't change the game time. Keep it right there at 6:40.
There are people that say that the Tigers could be a contender here shortly, and
his name's Freddie the Pizza Man. He's got a pizzeria in Melvindale, and he is under the firm belief that the Tigers are not only going to win the division this year, they're going to win a playoff game. So, I mean, look, you can believe whatever you want to believe.
I'm just talking about there's a trade not rumors, but there's, the best player in baseball perhaps could be traded in the next few weeks. Who is that going to, if that happens, who is it? Who's it going to?
Say Tigers fans are doing their best of when a guy shoots his shot on Twitter with a celebrity, then you see all the replies of oh, thank you for saving my puppy in the middle of the road. You're so gracious. Oh, thanks for donating those organs. You're such a great person. That's what's going on with Tigers fans and Shohei Ohtani right now.
What would that take? If you were the Angels, what would be the return you would want for Shohei?
51% control of the Tigers. And your top prospects.
I don't even know where to begin.
So then they can be the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Detroit division.
It could be Detroit Southwest. Who doesn't love Southwest Detroit? I'm just saying, great food. Salpicón is down there. You think about what Shohei Ohtani would command. If you were the GM of the Angels, what would you look at with the Tigers and say, this is what we're going to need? Your top 5 prospects, Green, Torque, Erod. What else? I mean, it would have to be it would have to command probably the large. But
it's really not. It's Anthony. He could leave. That's the thing. He could just leave. They're in the same situation, with Eduardo Rodriguez with the Tigers.
Just a little less leverage for Erod than Shohei. But yeah, that's and let's say the Tigers do pull off a magnificent trade, but it's a complete shakedown of the organization, right? I mean, the Angels got us by the ankle, and they are just shaking us loose, and all of our change is flying out all over the place, like we're little kids in the 60s getting robbed at lunch. Here's the deal. Do you believe that our ownership group would be willing to cut the check that it is going to cost for not only the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, but also the best hitter in baseball?
We have not seen evidence of it, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. It's just
doesn't mean it couldn't happen.
The right thing hasn't come along yet, perhaps.
the literal.
I mean,
until the generation player has not come along yet for the Tigers to be able to empty their pockets the way that Shohei Ohtani dominates both on the mound and at the plate.
We thought
the likes we haven't seen since the 20s.
We thought that Carlos Correa perhaps was going to be the guy that we were going to shell out the dough to. That didn't happen. We gave, I don't know, 2/3 of the contract that we were allegedly going to give Carlos Correa to Javier Baez, and now he is the second worst qualified batter in the major leagues. Do you think the guy wants to spend now? Probably not.
The noise there is what did it for me. That is what did it for me right there. Javier Baez. I wanted that to work so well, like so badly.
So do I. I'm just tired of seeing the day-by-day updated frustration of everyone with Javi Baez. Like, oh my God, in the second at-bat of this day, he looked at a pitch down the middle. What a waste of $100 million.
Yeah, they got to stop that.
It's like you are going to drive yourself insane, and as well as all of the internet. Like, we get it. You don't like it. I don't need an updated frustration level with each at-bat of his.
Yeah, I mean, save yourself the time and the effort. We know what he is. We've seen enough. It was a big name. It was a deal that brought over a guy that was going to bring a little bit of juice to the organization with the way that he played. Year number one was we saw some of the greatness, and we saw all of the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde there. I mean, we saw him throw balls from the shortstop spot that went all the way into the upper deck. Like,
does it frustrate you? I mean, early on in the season, we saw, Javi got benched for the base running blunder.
Tampa.
He got benched. Not benched.
Toronto.
He got.
Was it Toronto?
Yeah. He got
Toronto,
sat down yesterday. But does it frustrate you to see, like, there's no anger in it? Like, I'm sorry, if Jim Leland was around and our shortstop was the second worst batter in the league, he would be throwing helmets and bats in the dugout. If he was swinging at these sliders that are 4 feet outside. Where is the frustration from anybody about anything that happens in the games?
Yeah, I mean, Jim Leland smoking a dart, having a drink, and chucking something in the dugout. I think it's just that's a different era. I like Jim Leland a lot just because, the ballpark in Toledo at the AAA level was always like no smoking, no smoking, no smoking. He walked down and do whatever he wants and just fires up a dart in the dugout. And nobody says anything. Like, that's my kind of guy right there. Like, go ahead, Jim Leland, do whatever the hell you want to do.
Right,
it's your park. But that's not AJ Hinch. And I think that the team a lot of times, no matter what sport it is going to take on a little bit of the personality of whomever is in charge. Right, if you have a real
but don't you want to hear?
Do I want to hear? Yeah,
I'm saying, like, I don't want to hear AJ say, "Well, that's just Javi being Javi." I want to hear him say, "Yeah, that was an awful, awful throw. Javi has to be better." That's what I want to hear. That's just Javi being Javi. No.
But what does that do then for Javier Baez?
It worked the first 2 weeks, didn't it?
Well, I mean, was it really? I mean, outside of the actual benching and him addressing the benching, there was nothing really like crazy or overblown or overboard about what AJ Hinch was discussing with Javier Baez. It's just like this is they know. I think they know that, hey, if anybody throws him a slider, it doesn't matter where it ends up at. He's swinging, and we're swinging too. We're gonna keep swinging away. Hour number 2 here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Hot winds and scorching July nights. We've turned up the heat, and one lucky player every hour has the chance to win up to $5,000 in sizzling premium play. Blaze in to win red-hot prizes every Friday, 7 to 11 p.m. It's Scorching July Nights, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Bullying, lack of patience, cruelty to animals. Those are not good traits. They also happen to be critical warning signs of violence. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to know that at-risk people often display warning signs before they resort to gun violence. Search online for 10 critical warning signs of violence and ask your local police department how you can safely make a difference.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations. I think there's close to 30 across the Huge Radio Network. For the one close to you, go to MrCarWash.com, and there you can join their Unlimited Wash Club. Now, this is a quick and convenient way to keep your car shining all the time. It's everything you love about getting your car washed in a simple, easy-to-use, affordable plan. As an Unlimited Wash Club member, you will enjoy all the benefits of washing as often as you like, no long-term contract, convenient monthly billing, and now you can be rest assured with a contactless visit. So go to MrCarWash.com right now, sign up for their Unlimited Wash Club Pass, and that means you can get your car washed at any Mr. Car Wash location across the Huge Radio Network or anywhere in America. And for the location close to you across the Huge Radio Network, you can also log on to MrCarWash.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2 of X's and Bros on this Tuesday, the 18th day of July 2023. So great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XP Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And, of course, you can find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Kaelin is Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. You know, a couple days ago, we had asked you a question and wanted to know, just to throw it out there and see what people thought here. And it was from the most, basically, which close game in the last 15 years do you wish you could change the outcome of? And then we took from the most popular answers and put that into a poll question. Folks, it could not be any closer than what we came up with. Here are your 4 options that people responded the most with via Twitter. We had the 2016 Michigan-Ohio State JT was short game. We had the 2015 Cowboys-Lions officiating debacle. We had 2013 Michigan versus Louisville. The Trey Burke block that should have won the national championship, and instead they called a foul. And the 2010 Armando Galarraga perfect game that wasn't so perfect. This is how the poll results ended up here. 24% of voters chose JT was short, which was tied with 24% saying the Cowboys and Lions playoff game, which was only 2 percentage points below the Trey Burke block Michigan versus Louisville contest in the national title in 2013, which was tied with Armando Galarraga's perfect game. 24%, 24%, 26%, 26%. We can't make up our mind, and 2, that was a hearts and minds kind of poll right there. That was one that hit fans that, they obviously feel very strongly about, and it was a really good question posed there, Ryan, on that one, and then be able to, kind of come up and formulate the poll question just so we could kind of see where everybody's heads were at. That's incredible. 24% JT was short, 24% Cowboys and Lions, 26% voted for the Trey Burke block, and 26% for the perfect game that wasn't so perfect by Galarraga. It's simply incredible. So I'm glad that we found something that really touched the soul and made us all very, very much indecisive. I think that a lot of that poll question, when asked about, I think a lot of that poll question comes down to the fact of it's all dependent on, one, who's your favorite team, right? So you're not going to get any Michigan State fan that's going to vote for the JT was short game or the Trey Burke block. Like, it's not going to matter to them. They probably smiled somewhere and laughed and enjoyed our pain, right? If you're a huge baseball fan, of course you're going to steer towards Galarraga. But if you're a diehard Lions fan, then of course you're going to go to the playoff game, because if they win that playoff game in 2015, that probably changes the entire course of history. In fact, it does. It's the butterfly effect, right? They win that game. Matthew Stafford gets the proverbial monkey off of his back. Maybe he's still here today. Who knows? All right, what else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news. I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It was a 3-2 winner. All 3 runs scored by the Tigers in the top of the 8th inning last night, rallying from 2 down and being able to come up with the first win in game number 1 of the series against the Kansas City Royals. Game 2 tonight, same time, same place, Kauffman Stadium, 8:10 this evening. Felt like a really good win because it was a win that was like, come on, you're down 2-0. Like, we got to win this game. The Tennessee Titans, we talked a little bit about this story yesterday. I just don't know how this works out with Tennessee. I don't think anybody's really necessarily discussed this, but after the Cardinals released Nuke back on May 26th, he had the team-high $30 million salary cap hit. You can't pay a wide receiver that much. Right now in the NFL, what we are seeing is a grass is greener, keeping up with the Joneses sort of mentality with other sports leagues that have either a quarter or half of the roster size that people can't seem to figure out why other guys are making more money. Now the running backs are on like a full-scale mutiny. All the running, Christian McCaffrey, Najee Harris, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, like everybody's out here now speaking out about how the running back position is like some sort of criminal activity because of how they're paid and how little they're paid. Saquon Barkley, if I'm not mistaken, already in his career is going to be a top 10 earner at his position all time and hasn't done nearly what guys like Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, hell, Gale Sayers, if you want to go back even further. Like, there have been plenty of running backs that have been able to do a lot of damage in this league. Saquon's a good player. But are the New York Giants, like, what did I see? Their record with him is like 14 and something. Like, dude, first off, you got to stay on the field. Secondly, you play a position. You can mutiny all you want. We'll get into a little bit more of this here later on. But I just, everybody's complaining here. You can't have guys with $30 million cap hits that aren't quarterbacks. I'm sorry. Not if you're not touching the ball every play. Former Commanders Vice President Jason Friedman is suing the team for defamation. He testified before Congress last year alleging financial improprieties by the Washington Commandos and has filed suit in Virginia against the team and one of its attorneys on a defamation claim. It was a 15-page suit in the civil division asking for $7.5 million in compensation and another $350,000 punitive damages. I need to get some punitive damages here. Isaiah Mobley helps the Cleveland Cavaliers top the Houston Rockets. They win the Summer League title, so congratulations to the Cavs. Hey, Amani Bates has been pretty good for Cleveland so far, so that's a good start for him. Amani added 19 points for the Cavs. They finished 6-0 in the Summer League. They win a championship. I have already seen my Cleveland friends celebrating. A championship is a championship. Relax. It's a 6-game exhibition in Vegas. Stop it. Joel Embiid said he wants a title, whether with the 76ers or another team. Really? I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes, he said. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else.
Hurt my feelings.
Joel Embiid. What are you trying to say? Here's it. Everybody wants to win a championship. Everybody wants to. Few are willing to make the sacrifice to do so. And in the NBA, the league where everybody just hops on different teams and they cry and complain their way off of this roster to go jump onto that roster, and then it doesn't work out. You see Phoenix this year. I'll take the field versus Phoenix however much you want. I'll bet you a round here at BOYNE that Phoenix doesn't win the NBA championship in 2024. It's just not going to happen. It never does. It never works out like that. Joel Embiid.
I mean, fresh coach also. That doesn't help.
Fresh coach. Not enough basketballs out there at one time. Like, just a disaster. And Nike has permanently ended its sponsorship partnership with Hockey Canada, So there you have it. Nike's decision comes after 2 weeks after the equipment brand Bauer reinstated its partnership with Hockey Canada. Nike, slowly but surely fizzling out of the sport of hockey. We'll step aside, come back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Hot winds and scorching July nights. We've turned up the heat, and one lucky player every hour has the chance to win up to $5,000 in sizzling premium play. Blaze in to win red-hot prizes every Friday, 7 to 11 p.m. It's Scorching July nights, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to speak up. In 4 out of 5 school shootings, someone knew about the attacker's intent but didn't report it. If you suspect someone you know may be about to hurt themselves or others, speak up. You can report it safely and anonymously through OK to Say, or contact your local police department and share what you know. Whatever you do, don't keep it to yourself.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Step into a world of nonstop action over the DraftKings Casino. You can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus maybe my favorite too, catch a hot hand in a dice game, play a little craps there. Just bet the field. You're going to be fine. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds, only on the DraftKings Casino app, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan, only one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000 deposit, and bonus amount required 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. All right, folks, it's hour 2. It's segment 2. That means it's time for... you hear the music. Time for a little Detroit Lions trivia. Why not? Camp is just a few days away. Can you believe that? I mean, we're within striking distance here, folks. I don't know if you've been paying attention or not. I know it's hard. A lot of free agency stuff, NBA Summer League stuff, Major League Baseball stuff. No, football
just
season.
Life flying by.
Life is flying by.
I mean, it's July 18th already.
My guy, now I can't remember his name, Dr. whoever, used to always say, time waits for no one.
Dr. whoever.
I
Very
forget what
good.
his name was. That's my guy, though. The great cardiovascular doc. I just can't remember what his name was. A lot of people.
Say it was Doctor Who?
Doctor Who. That could be it as well.
Just travel in a phone booth?
Are you talking about the guy, the juicer dude?
No, I'm talking about the guy at ProMedica. I forget what his name is.
English?
Ugh. And one day my mom isn't listening to immediately text me like, your hair's out of place. It's Dr. So-and-so. She would know. All right, trivia question today for the Detroit Lions. In what year did the Lions win their first ever NFL championship? And if you can name the franchise they beat, you get bonus points in this round. What year was the first ever Detroit Lions championship? Was in the Super Bowl at that time.
I thought it was 1935.
Oh. I got a feeling that's not because you knew that trivia question. I got a feeling that's because you sat in that building so long that you looked at the banners and it's been ingrained in your mind.
Yeah, 35, 45, 30, it might be 45, 47, 57, something like that.
52, 54.
But I think the answer is Cleveland, but we had that last week as one of the trivia questions, I think.
The answer to this question is a special one that goes out to one of our listeners on our flagship station, 96.1 The Game. They're in the beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan, over on the west side of the state. He's a longtime listener. He calls only during football season to talk about a team that nobody in this state cares about, but because he's from that state, he feels the need to keep us updated, and his franchise running back is about to go AWOL. The New York Football Giants. The Lions beat the Giants in 1935 in the NFL championship game, 26-7. Lions finished the regular season 7 wins, 3 losses, and 2 ties. Wonder how many forward passes they had back then in 1935. But just for New York, Scott, hope he heard that trivia question this morning. Just a simple reminder that we are the superior state, superior teams and franchises. We're not going to worry about Eli's lucky Super Bowls. We're not going to worry about the Yankees. The Knicks stink, and we're going to leave it at that. As long as you guys are good with that. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Is Danny from Bloomfield going to call in again and say the Tigers have no young talent like he said last week? That comes from one anonymous texter.
So when the Tigers win the World Series this year, does Al Avila get to pick the trophy up?
I thought that might have been who that text message came from. If the Tigers were to win the World Series this year,
does Al get a ring?
And I were to win the Powerball.
I didn't win last night. I'm sorry, guys.
I got to look.
No one won.
Would you buy?
It's going to be $1 billion.
It's over $1 billion.
Would you buy the Red Wings, Anthony?
I was driving in this morning, and the boards were already updated.
Yeah, there's one on 75.
Hey, Ken, if I win that Powerball,
75 South at 9 Mile. There's a big board.
Yeah, but the one on my side, the 75 northbound, it's incorrect because like 2 of the bars are stuck. So the other side, the Mega Millions, it's actually 640 million.
Oh my
but it
God.
says 940 million because
is it digital?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or it might say 840 because like the 2 top are broken, so the flaps won't close on it. So people are probably thinking they're going to win the wrong number.
Why wouldn't they just call Ed Clark to fix it?
Yeah, get him up there.
I mean, Ed can fix everything. God bless him. If you're ever in Ford Field and you're looking at all of the technology in the building, it could be the video boards, the ribbon boards, the lights, anything that has to do with an on-off switch that isn't like a piece of concrete or a chair. Credit card machines.
I do need to talk to Ed to see what he actually does. Not about our show, but just after being like how he helps if he does help when the concerts come to Ford Field.
This guy, he's got to be there.
I'm sure he's there, but it's just like, are you just pointing the whole time?
I don't see him as much of a point guy.
But it's just these people bring in their own crews to set all this up.
Like the big jumbo speakers in the ceiling of Ford Field that hang down. Ed Clark. Like that guy fixes everything. So if there's a billboard that's out on 75 somewhere, if it's, what is it, Lamar, Lear, or whoever owns the outdoor whatever, call him. Call Ed Clark. That's all you need to do. If I win the lottery, by the way, and just like the Tigers, if they were to win the World Series, like yes, Al Avila would get a ring. Al Avila would get a statue. I would build, if I win the lottery, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to build a bronze statue of Al Avila, and I'm going to stick it right outside of Freddy the Pizza Man.
Right next to the RoboCop.
No, I'm going to put it right next to Freddy's.
That we've been waiting for.
And it's going to be sitting there, and it is going to be awesome. And it's just going to be Al Avila, so Freddie can walk in and slap his hand every day for his contribution. If they win the World Series, if I win the lottery, I'm doing that regardless. If they win the World Series this year, I have better chances, I think, of winning the lottery. But if that were the case, I told Ken just now, if I win the lottery, I'm going to be a member up here. He's like, you don't have to win the lottery to be a member up here. I'm just to be able to fly up here. I would just fly. That's what I would do. There's a little airstrip not too far from where we're at. I would just land right there, good to go. That would be the one for me. All right. Yesterday we kicked off our tour here up north at the Grand Traverse, and bucket list kind of course. The Bear lived up to the hype. As I was telling Danny and Ryan earlier, I started off on the Bear 1 under through 3, and I mean I felt great. I was like, here we go. We're just piping this 3-wood, putters working, wedge wizards. Let's go. I had to, hit a miraculous shot to set up my birdie. Like it was like I was feeling good. I was feeling good. And then I proceeded to go, I think 12 over in the next 6 holes. And that's golf. I mean, that is golf. Like that's what it is. It's the most frustrating, aggravating, enjoyment-filled time of your life. But I mean, everything it was cracked up to be. It's different in the like the scape of what you think up north golf is. It's different because of the terrain. It is laid out differently, much flatter, and compared to round 2 of yesterday's 36-hole bonanza, which we'll talk about a little bit later here in the program. Coming to you live, day 2 of the Up North Tour for the Country Club of BOYNE. We're back after this here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Doran Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Doran Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Back we are here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. I want to remind you, golf season is here, and my friend Matt Golden and his team over at Tullymore Golf Resort ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. Tullymore in Canadian Lakes offers not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant, smack dab in the middle of the state. Easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. Not only features top-line golfing experiences, but also top-line accommodations and the perfect space for wedding, event, reception, or group outing. Visit TullymoreGolf.com or call Matt Golden personally on his cell phone, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. He did tell me that if I tell one more person that that's his cell phone number, he was going to be upset with me. So I figure we might as well keep it rolling here. Got a text message coming in. Text the keyword sports radio to 21,000, sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. That's Danny Cahalan and Ryan Elke. I am Anthony Bellino. Al Avila smoking a cigar statue. You hater, keep rooting for them and watching them progress with his guys. Don't forget Riley Green's foot injury the day before the season. Mize, Turnbull, Skubal, Manning, all getting hurt right after. Set them way back. Facts. Enjoy golf today and this week. You deserve it. Boy, that was really nice. That's from Freddie the Pizza Man. That's who that's from. And yeah, I think I found the connection here. I think that Freddie and Al used to visit the same cigar bar. And so I think that while they were there, Al would open up his locker to Fredo.
Don Yeo in downtown Dearborn?
Fredo would then slide a pizza into the cigar locker, in which the cigars would come back out. The two of them would discuss who knows what at this time. I think that's the linchpin. I think I figured that out. Because I'm like, there's no way that you could love a man that's not a relative as much as this guy loves this general manager. Like, how is that even possible? I love Steve Yzerman. I don't love him like this. We know the story. Bad luck, injury bug. We get it. But my goodness, I've never seen anything like it. Sometimes I wonder.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Freddie, I believe he texted us last week to let us know. Al has not gone. He's gone back to Avila. Now, according to Freddie, he said make sure it's Avila in the text. I did not give that to you the other day, though.
Okay, I want to get into this story right now because Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry are among some players that are criticizing the, quote, criminal state of the running back market. Now, Matt Miller had said this. I don't know if you follow Matt Miller at all. He was working with ESPN. I'm not even sure.
I've tried so many times to get Matt Miller on this show for us. He's one of my favorite scouts.
He's an incredible follow on Twitter. And he had tweeted out on July 17th, yesterday, at 1:30 in the afternoon, in the year of our Lord, 2023. Been saying it for years. 1, draft a running back. 2, play the running back if he's good. 3, franchise tag the running back one time. And then 1, draft a running back. Derrick Henry quoted that and said, at this point, just take the running back position out of the game. Then the ones that want to be great and work as hard as they can to give their all to an organization just seems like it don't even matter. I'm with every running back that's fighting to get what they deserve. Oh, boy. Now, Derrick Henry's tweets came hours after franchise tag running backs Saquon Barkley, the New York Giants, Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders, and Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys didn't agree to multi-year contracts with their respective teams before Monday's deadline. The San Francisco 49ers star, who was dealt from Carolina to San Francisco, remember that, runs CMC, a.k.a. Christian McCaffrey, who tops the position in average annual salary, called it criminal. This is criminal. 3 of the best players in the entire league, regardless of position. Do you believe that Tony Pollard, regardless of position, is one of the best players in the National Football League?
People are dumb and they don't think that people on the defensive side of the football are good football players for some reason. There are about 10 defensive players that are better than Tony Pollard.
There's about 10.
Maybe 20.
Yeah, the dude, like Tony Pollard, really? The guy that replaced Ezekiel Elliott? Because remember, Ezekiel Elliott did get the paycheck that these guys wanted. Then what happened? He got fat. That's what happened. Let's just call it what it is.
The two examples are Le'Veon Bell and Ezekiel Elliott.
So.
And it hasn't worked out right. But I understand these running backs' frustrations of, like, we're using our whole prime of our careers of college and then the first 4 years of our NFL career. And, yeah, we don't get paid like other NFL players when it's finally time for us to negotiate a contract.
So this list that I'm going to present to you is going to be players that are going to be over the age. Bijan Robinson, the first-round selection in this past year's draft, is going to skew things a little bit because he's going to have $21 million in total value, right, because of where he was drafted at. So let's go down the list real quick of these criminal running back contracts. Christian McCaffrey, $64 million. Alvin Kamara, $75 million. Derrick Henry, $50 million. Nick Chubb at $36.5 million. Aaron Jones, the Packers, $23 million. Tony Pollard, franchise tag, $10 million. Josh Jacobs, $10 million. Saquon, $10 million. James Conner of the Cardinals, $21 million. Miles Sanders of the Panthers, $25.4. Austin Eckler of the Chargers, $24.5. David Montgomery, $18 million with the Lions. You see what I'm saying here? If you think Christian McCaffrey that the running back market is criminal and you're making an average of $16 million a year and a contract that has a value of $64 million with $36 million guaranteed, maybe you should go try to bag groceries. In fact, we're hiring at Danny's Fine Foods, and any one of you knuckleheads can come on through and see what it's like to I'm going to train real hard. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. You are a professional athlete. I'm not taking anything away from that. You are the 1% of the 1%. But if you're going to sit here and cry to me that you're going to make $10 million this year, I'm sorry, I'm not listening.
Okay, but it's comparatively to their coworkers.
Okay, that's where I want to go next, right? Because the previous statement was about, in comparison to other guys on NFL rosters. Okay.
Well, did you see the graphic? I think Bleacher Report put it out. The average, because there are so many running backs, the average salary is $1.8 million. The average salary for a kicker is $2.6.
Right. I mean, the highest paid punter in average salary per year is now Michael Dixon of the Seahawks at $3.6 million. Jack Fox was up there. He has a $13 million deal, $13.965 million for Jack Fox. That's the total value of his deal, with $7.5 million guaranteed, making $3.4 million. How many running backs do we have on the Detroit Lions right now?
I would guess 5
4.
or yeah.
Four that would probably practice squad a guy at some point, right? Let's get to the phone lines. I mean, come on here, guys. Like Jonathan Taylor, if you're good enough, they'll find you. If you work hard enough, you'll succeed. If you succeed, you'll boost the organization, and then it doesn't matter. You're a running back. Your shelf life isn't good. I don't know why do people seem to fail to realize or understand the reality of the situation? The more you touch the ball, the more you get hit. The more you get hit at the NFL level, the less likely you are to continue your career. That's why all the rules are skewed to the quarterback. It's to keep them alive and well and thriving for the longest amount of time. When you have 2, 3, 4 guys on a roster that play your position, what do you want to do, Christian McCaffrey, with your criminal money? Do you want to hand some of your money over? Do you realize you have to pay the 5 guys in front of you that are going to block? Oh, and by the way, you're going to probably need at least 3 to 4 guys on the bench just in case one of the guys in front of you gets hurt. And we have a quarterback, and we have wide receivers, and that's just the offense. We haven't even tried to stop the other team. Let's get to the phone line. Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176. Who's on hold first? Who do you got?
New York Scott.
Oh, Mr. Clean himself, New York Scott. The answer to our trivia question. Studio audience love this guy. If you don't know, and I don't know New York Scott, we only know each other through the show, but I did look him up on LinkedIn, and he looks just like Bill Goldberg. New York Scott, how are you?
You know, Bellino, you're going to get everybody's hopes up. Now, I look like Goldberg that's retired for 10 years and forgot about what a gym looked like. But
No, Scott, I saw your neck, Scott. Your neck looked like a tree trunk. I was like, this guy's got the spring. He's got the traps that are like they go from the edge of his shoulders directly up to his ears.
Yeah, all right.
You're laughing because you're humble. I get it. I'm just trying to pump you up here a little bit.
All right, I appreciate it, Bellino. Yeah, but we're talking running back, and it's kind of like any organization, man. I'm a recruiter, so you look at any organization. There's kind of a limit they're going to pay anybody per position. The CEO is going to make the most. You can compare that to the quarterback, most important piece in the cog, and then you go down to your defensive ends, your edge rushers, your cornerbacks, people that are really going to be involved with the organization, hopefully for a long time, right? Running backs, to your point, man, this is getting beat up. I think if there was maybe a salary cap per position, not only would it help the entire league, but it would put everything in perspective of like, hey, you can only pay quarterbacks this much of the cap. You can, whether it's percentage of cap or whether it's a hard cap on the number, just so everything's kind of across the board. Because you do look at like a Christian McCaffrey making $16 million and nobody else wants to pay more than 10. Sure, I don't think McCaffrey's twice as good as Henry or Barkley or Jacobs. Is he better? Probably. But again, to your point, I mean, you can't trust the guy. I mean, especially Barkley. It's like, I just want him to – I love his character. Don't get me wrong. And I mean, I want him to be a Giant for life. Let me say that first and foremost, and I think he's an amazing player. But when you get injured 2.5 years out of your 4 years that you've been playing, man, just shut up, take your $10 million, and show me what you got this year. Like, and then if next year comes, that's another $12 million guaranteed. Shut up and take the money. Like, you worked this hard to get $10 million a year. You didn't work this hard to get $100 million a year. It just is what it is. So I think they just need to get it in perspective and realize you're touching the rock 300 times a year. You're getting beat down. You've had back-to-back injuries, and I don't think there's any running back. McCaffrey's another one that I think is overpaid because who knows how long he'll last next year. Right? I mean, all these really explosive, wiry guys, just like your Odell Beckhams of the world. Like, you have to protect the team and the organization. You can't have $20 million a year in dead money floating out there because you decide to pull up hard on the turf and pull your ACL or MCL or whatever these common turf injuries are happening now. So I see the Giants' point. I see the Raiders' point. Now the Raiders are more of a rebuild. I would have just shipped Jacobs off, but yeah, to the point, man. It's like you can't invest that kind of salary hit and hope and cross our fingers. This is the second year in Barkley's history he doesn't get injured. Even last year, I mean, he was tweaked and banged a little bit and played on a pitch count. Throughout the year, they didn't, some games he had the full workload, don't get me wrong, but they were pitch counting him throughout the year as well. So, I don't know, show me 17 games uninjured, and maybe we'll show you the paycheck. But other than that, it's just not worth it, man.
Well, it's got, so I pulled up via Spotrac, and you can do this too if you want to. If you're, at home and you want to check it out, it's spotrac.com, and go by NFL positional breakdown. The running back position is the second lowest paid position on average across all 32 NFL teams. The average salary, $220 million per team to spend across 53 players. 220.
You're not counting kickers and putters, though, right?
No, I'm counting kickers. Yeah, every team spends about $6.5 million, roughly, give or take, on kickers, punters, and long snappers, because long snappers are people too. So if you take the full salary cap expenditure of roughly $220 million, that's the average, $220.2 million. That's $4.2 million per player. I rounded up there. It's actually 4.154, but you get what I'm saying. So if you want to go with this, if you want to go real left here and everybody's equal and everybody gets the same and everybody gets this, we all get everything, then everybody makes $4.1 million. And you could be the Soviet NFL league if you want. Or in free market capitalism, don't sign your franchise tender and then don't get paid and sit out. And what will happen is you will sit out. They will then again go make a move and run the ball behind somebody else. And that other individual might not be as talented, but can service the running game for the purpose that they need it, and then they can carry on with their lives. If you want the rundown of what this looks like, by position group, the highest paid group is the offensive line, which makes sense considering the fact that they have the most people to pay. You've got tackle to tackle, that's 5 guys, plus you probably have anywhere between 3, 4, potentially even 5 on your roster that are backups, right? So you got somewhere between 8 and 10 offensive linemen. That makes sense. After the linemen, where do you go next? You go into defensive backs and defensive linemen. It makes sense that you go defensive linemen first because the edge rushers tend to skew a little bit, pressure on the quarterback. But the defensive backs are right there making $2 million less on average per team. Right? After DBs, it's almost a toss-up between your linebackers and your wide receivers, right? You have to have a plethora of those positions. You only have, 2, 3, maybe 4 running backs per team. If you were that good, you'd never get hurt, and you'd have 25, 30 carries a game, and that would be it. But we know what it is. Like, you're a head of lettuce. You take the head of lettuce out of the fridge, and you put it on the countertop. It's going to go brown.
Yep. Yeah, and as far as you're saying, it's like it makes perfect sense, too. I mean, look at the O-line. They're the unsung heroes of every team, right? You look at the Lions, for example. I mean, Goff is okay. He's a manageable quarterback. But if you put him behind a poor offensive line with no time, minus his scrambling ability, he'd be dead back there, right? So it's like,
man walking.
Thank God they have a premium offensive line that you invest into. And guess what? That protects you as a running back, protects you as the quarterback. If anything, you should want them to invest in the best offensive line because it's going to make you look better, too. So, it all goes, it goes hand in foot, right? You can't have everything in the world. Like, sure, we'll pay Saquon all the money, and then we won't have Andrew Thomas next year when we got to re-sign him because a Pro Bowler left tackle is not coming cheap, right? So it's like, what do you want? You want to get blown up in the backfield like you were 2 years ago?
Scott, it's the same thing that everybody in today's society wants. They want everything without having to sacrifice anything. Everybody wants to make $2 million and they want to work, 1 day a week, maybe. They want to, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I would love to see all of these running backs. What I'd like to see is the way that they skew politically. Because what you're telling me right now is that you want more money, but you don't want to sacrifice anything. And that's not how this works, right? You want. You'll take. And you want everything given to you, but you don't want any repercussion for that. Well, if you want to sign for $60 million a year, you're going to be out there snapping the ball to yourself and getting cremated. Like, that's what it is. So until we figure, I honestly think if I'm the owner of the New York Giants, I'm not budging. You could sign the tender. We'll see what you got this year. If you play really well, we'll put some sort of quote-unquote long-term deal on the table that might be 4 or 5 years with some front-loaded guaranteed money, but something we can back out of when your knee blows off.
Yeah, I still doubt that would happen. In the Giants' perfect world, knowing Joe Shane and what's going on now, they want him to play on the tag. Next year, they're going to sign Thomas. They're going to sign a couple other people, and they're going to tag him again for $12 million, right? So he's looking at.
Oh, Scott, we got to hit the break. We're up against it, man. Appreciate the call this morning, though, partner. We'll be back hour 3 next, live from Country Club of Boyne here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Kerry Carpenter hit 3 home runs in the first 2 games in Seattle, and each one showed off the skills that have made him a much improved hitter this year. Carpenter said almost every single home run he hit last year was off a fastball. This year, he's worked very hard to make sure he can hit all kinds of pitching in all zones. His first home run of the series off a Luis Castillo changeup down in the strike zone. His second off a George Kirby fastball, sinking below the strike zone at 96. His third home run was off a Kirby letter high 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Carpenter hit that one 431 feet. Carpenter is a better hitter this year, and he's settling in nicely into the cleanup spot.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defended in the corner!
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Sparty!
Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes! Caught! Touchdown to Kurt Myers! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Br0's. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 3 of X's and Bros coming to you live for the beautiful country club of BOYNE here, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio on the Michigan Sports Network and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you not only to come hang out where I'm at right now, but also to join the program. Text the keyword sports radio, send it to 21,000, or give us a dial on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. That's where we find Freddie, Mr. Al Avila, statue himself. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Quit being a hater.
Who's a hater?
Quit being a hater.
Who's a hater?
I love you, brother.
I love you, too. Good morning to you.
You having a good time?
I'm having a blast. I tell you, I am having a blast.
Just admit it. You'd have more fun if I was there, right? You know that, right?
Well, of course. I mean, who doesn't have fun when you're around, Freddie? Come on
here. Just smart aleck, especially with my cigar smoke and all that stuff.
I'm convinced you and Al Avila had something going on there in Birmingham or wherever you. I think Birmingham is where you said you're at. I could see you doing a little Townsend Hotel. I could see you at Birmingham walking the streets there. You know, Freddie, you're Birmingham. Yeah, you got blue collar Melvindale in your blood, but you got some, Birmingham Bloomfield Hills swag to you.
Yeah, well, he would tell me about all his trades sitting at the bar smoking cigar. Why? See, there is a. I will tell you, many people don't know. I sat in the studio of another radio station in town that went belly up, and I was in on the interview with Al Avila. I had the headphones on, mic on, everything, and I listened to the interview with the guys interviewing him. I will tell you that. And the other one I sat in on was Dan Dickerson. But I actually got to ask him questions. I thought it was kind of neat. Avila,
real quick, Freddie, to when you said you were in the studio with the other that went belly up, it just needed time. Is what it needed. When you're talking about radio and you have new station or new programming, you have new hosts, whatever the case may be, anything in this realm takes time because this is a relationship built business. It's not like TV news where you start off in Kalkaska and then end up in Wichita, and then from Wichita you end up in Toledo, and from Toledo you go down to Charlotte, and from Charlotte you hit Miami. Like TV people typically, sports anchors, weather people, unless they're career folks that know they're exactly where they want to be, or hometown folks, 9 times out of 10, people are jumping around, bouncing. It's like a horse race. They just or a carousel. They get on one horse and they bounce around from the next horse to the next horse. The problem that other group had is they just didn't give it enough time. They needed to give it 3 years instead of 3 quarters.
Yeah, they also hired the wrong program director too, but that's a whole nother story. But you can't hire somebody from out of town that doesn't know anything about Detroit, especially when you have the number 1 show on that station, and they flip flop it to a different time slot. So, but anyways, I didn't call to talk about that. Listen, I'm gonna. This is not against you, but I'm gonna trash your. I'm not going to trash you. I'm going to trash his take with the running back.
Please do. Trash away.
I think it's complete trash by the NFL and complete trash by Roger Goodell. Where's Roger Goodell? Where is he? Hiding in his basement right now, sitting in his chair? These guys are such hypocrites. You want to give these quarterbacks millions and millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden nobody can touch them, right? I heard for years Matthew Stafford couldn't win because he never run a game, right? I heard that for years in this town. He couldn't win because he never run it back. They didn't run for 1,000 yards. And then I heard, well, golf couldn't win. Golf finally won because he had Todd Gurley. John Elway couldn't win a Super Bowl until he got Terrell Davis. And now all of a sudden the NFL wants to trash these running backs and just throw them to the side and not pay these guys.
Nobody is trash. They're $10 million a year. The franchise. Derrick Henry signed 4 years, $50 million. What do you mean?
Listen, quit cutting me off. You're ready to drive the ball 100 yards past me. I don't want to hear it. Quit cutting me off. Now, okay, I think it's complete trash. Why don't you cut the quarterback's pay and give these guys running backs? Don't tell me the running back is not important. That's hogwash. When you get to the playoffs, the running backs are important, okay? You got to have your running back. These guys are getting screwed, and there's no way it would. Now first it's the catcher. We're getting rid of the catchers. In 5 years, we're not going to have no more catchers in baseball. Now we're not going to have no more running backs. Now we have no more centers. Are you kidding me? The NFL is screwing the running back. I'm going to tell you why they're screwing the running back. Because they're tired of the head injuries. They're tired of being in the news with the head injuries. And who gets the number one head injuries in the NFL? The running
wide
back.
Receivers?
Well, no. The running back. So why is the NFL not stepping up? Because
You think there's more concussions and head injuries to running backs than there is to wide receivers?
Anthony, I think the NFL should stand up and say, listen, it's not fair to say running backs don't pay them because they don't last long. It's not true for every running back. Some of them they do. But there's quarterbacks that come in the league that don't last long because either they stink or they get hurt. So what's the difference? But they get uploaded money right off the get-go. It's not fair. Daniel Jones getting $50 million or $40 million, he stinks. You take Saquon off that team, they're a 4-win team. You can't tell me running backs are not important. Daniel Jones stinks. We all know that. The Giants stink without Saquon Barkley. That's why they actually won last year. I think the NFL is wrong. They're screwing the running back because they don't want any more head injuries in the news. And Goodell sitting in his basement in his brown chair doing nothing and collecting his money. I think it's crap. I really do. Crap, NFL. Have a good day.
Wow. I mean, what a rant. That was really something. Okay, couple of things, right? We have what we have here is when we have probability meets possibility, right? Probability meaning that something may happen, right? And it is more likely to happen. Possibility means that something may happen, but we don't necessarily know how likely it is to happen. So possibility is whether or not this is possible or not. Probability means that this is probably going to happen, just to kind of narrow it down. This probability versus possibility here is for the running back, right? The running back, the reason the running back doesn't make as much as the quarterback, because that was one of our concerns here, is because the quarterback touches the ball in every play. The quarterback has to make decisions with the football that no other position has to make in any sport, right? So that's number one. Quarterback is the most important position in all of sports, and it's not even close. That's why the quarterback makes more than the running back. The running back makes less, and now we do have some running backs that are making guarantees of $10, $20, $30 million a season. If you want to pay the running backs more, because Freddie did make a good point, you have to be able to have a running game because your offense has to be multiple, right? You have to be able to throw the football, you have to be able to run the football, and you have to be able to mix the two to be able to deceive the defense by instituting, whether it's your RPO, your short pass game, whatever the case may be. Like, you have to be able to do that in order to keep the defense on their toes. It's called winning football. So the running back is very much important, but possibly getting hurt, probably getting hurt. that position shelf life just isn't great. And the data supports that. We'll step aside when we return. My buddy Ken is going to join us and talk a little bit about where we are sitting right now. You see the beautiful lush grass behind me at the Country Club of BOYNE. Don't go anywhere. Find out more how you can book a trip just like I did and stay in the presidential suite next here on X's and Bros in the Michigan Sports Network.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Have you ever played golf at Tullymore, St. Ives? Have you experienced a stay-and-play package in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of Grand Rapids? Well, here's what you need to do if you want to take advantage of great deals right now. Go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com, and you'll see the link for packages, accommodations, dining, meetings, weddings, events, and so much more, and especially golf on the 18-hole layout at Tullymore and the 18 holes at St. Ives. And they can accommodate any group, whether it's 2 people getting together or 200 looking for a weekend or an overnight celebration. That includes a little business, golf, great food, and beverages. Just go to tullymoregolf.com. That's tullymoregolf.com. They're located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, less than an hour north of GR. Get more info at tullymoregolf.com. Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you, coming to you live from the Country Club of BOYNE. Sitting right next to me, our Director of Golf Sales and Marketing, Ken Griffin. Ken, my friend, thank you once again. Good morning to you. Thank you for having us here and for hosting us. What an incredible 18 holes last night. Looking forward to another great 18 today. And how are you this morning, my friend?
It's great to have you. It's been too long.
It has been. It's been a couple of years. And the last time I was here, I didn't realize that, Ken, you were going to put us in the presidential suite. You said, wait till you see the rooms. And I said, okay. And I walked in, and I realized that there's a sofa and there's other chairs. And I can't even find the bedroom where I'm at.
Well, now, did you get the one with the stereo in it? There actually, I think, is even one above the one you're in.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you're in a really nice one. Don't get me wrong. Okay.
I mean,
you're in
it's
a great
something.
room, but they upgrades to those rooms as well as the Chalet 808s down at the mountain. But here in the main lodge, it's just an experience commensurate with the quality of the courses.
Yeah, we'll get into the golf because it's that time of year. Everybody should be booking their stay and plays across Michigan. And when you get up to northern Michigan, we got the opportunity. You had us on the Monument yesterday, and that to me was like the epitome of what up north golf is. Like, that is what it is supposed to look like. It's supposed to have those majestic views, the tree lines, the elevation, drops. And then you're telling us that, well, we're here at the pro shop and we have an hour and a half drive in the golf cart to get to the first tee. You're like, you just got to go up the mountain. I'm like, go up the mountain. You play your way down. You'll be fine.
It was a mile and a half, not an hour and a half.
Oh, okay. That's what it was.
But it's not a short drive. Yeah, it's not 500 feet of vertical up and about a little over, or not quite a mile and a half. So, yeah, it would be a little hike. So it was one of the first courses in the U.S. that required a cart to play. That opened in 1970. Well, that was about 76, 77. The Monument opened, and the Alpine was 71. So.
And as we're making our trek up there, and Kevin at the clubhouse, he was great. He says, you're going to see the ski, there's like a black ski lift, a pole, and then you're going to make a right. And so I'm like, all right. So we make the right, and we go up the hill. We're going through the woods. And I'm like, man, this really is a drive. But then we get there, and we see this giant, large wooden apparatus. What is going on up here?
Skybridge, Michigan, that you drive by now on the way to the tee boxes. But it's the world's longest, tallest wooden timber suspension bridge, and it opened up last fall to rave reviews, and you can enjoy it at BOYNE Mountain as part of your experience.
8-person ski lift right next to it, right? So we get up there, and there's people everywhere.
First one in the Midwest that opened up last winter too.
Wow.
So we're investing. The biggest thing for BOYNE is in the 15 years I've been with BOYNE, this is the biggest year I've ever seen of reinvestment on and off the course.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I didn't realize that the amount of people that were going to be up there to be able to see the first tee shot, which was majestic, right? Because at the Monument, you're at the top of the mountain, you're hitting down, and it's like, the gallery was going crazy. People were yelling mashed potatoes as I was making content. It was just beautiful. You can ask Steve, the starter. He was loving every second of it. When we think about what is to, you mentioned the upgrades and the reinvestment, the new rooms at not only the Highlands main lodge, but also at the Chalet. The goal, what were you going for there? Because the exterior of the building still gives you that good, kind of older feel to it, right? And what the original vision of BOYNE might have been. But then you walk inside, it's whoa.
Well, in the settings, I mean, the theme for BOYNE Highlands, or the Highlands, is Scottish Highlands. Mm-hmm. And the theme down at BOYNE Mountain is Bavaria, Swiss Alps, that type of thing. And then, the one we haven't talked about is the one in the middle of the Inn at Bay Harbor, the Marriott Autograph Resort that sits right on Lake Michigan. And that's kind of like the Del Coronado or the Mount Washington Hotel, only 100 years newer. And it's a Marriott Autograph that sits right on Lake Michigan. So when you come up to visit, you can stay at any one of the 3 properties based on what you're looking for and still have the quality of golf that you have on the 10 courses.
Yeah, that's where I want to go next. 10 courses here in a variety in style of play that you can get at each location.
Yeah, I mean, even the best golf in the U.S., take Pinehurst, no doubt. a bucket list trip for anybody, or Bannon. But they're in very similar settings. Great courses, but in similar settings. There's nowhere else in the United States that you can have 4 courses sitting right along the lake shores of Michigan. And you go 18 miles south to Boyne Mountain, you have a 1.2-mile drive up to the top to the tee boxes, and you play down to Deer Lake. Or you come up here to Boyne Highlands, and you have the original heather course that's built in an old blueberry bog. You have the Arthur Hills course that has a 9-mile cart path. You guys are getting out on it later on this morning. But it's a 9-mile cart path, and on the 13th hole, you have a 350-foot vertical drop from tee box to green, and you're looking at 4,000 acres of northern Michigan forest that you can't find a building in.
In the actual courses themselves, like that variety that exists there. So if you play Bay Harbor, like the preserve is so much different than the links, which is incredibly different than the quarry. And take extra balls with you, folks. But it's one of those things. Like you're gonna need some nuggets in the bag, right? And then you have like the Ross, the Heather, like the way that each course gives you something different, right? Something new to experience.
Well, different designers. I mean, this was by design from the start, going back. First course opened in '66, but the whole idea was to give quality golf experiences, but to give different experiences. You don't want to play the same course all the time just because it's in the same terrain, and different designers. Having Arthur Hills design, a number of courses he has. Newcomb designed a couple, but, one of Newcomb's courses was the Donald Ross, where we took Ross holes from all over the U.S. and put them in here. So just, as you said, different experiences. So the courses play different, but it's still a high-quality golf experience.
You mentioned the Ross, and for our listeners, a couple of courses in some of our affiliate areas represented there, with Oakland Hills and Inverness, both having replica holes there on the Ross.
Yeah, for sure. So I think there are 2 Stream Song holes. There are 3 Pinehurst. There are 2 Oakland Hills, and as you said, 1 from the Inverness, Wannamoyset, really from all over the eastern U.S., and then 1 from his hometown. Ross didn't design it, but there's 1 from Earl Dornick, where he grew up and learned to love the game.
I love that. I think that's such a fantastic touch to it. When we think of Boyne and all of the different, the Highlands, you have the mountain, you have Bay Harbor, as you mentioned, you've got the 10 courses, and of course in the Winter Wonderland, the skiing is second to none. But when you think about, we get to the pro shop yesterday, and we're getting ready to play the mountain. And I see the clubhouse, and then there's a road, and then there was like an open park area. And there were these beach houses, right? And I see these little kids out there running around. They're like, it's like a beach. I would say like a condominium, because it was 2-story, and I'm just on the outside looking at it, and I was like, what a great idea if you had a group of family. When I was a kid, we had, there was probably like 6, 7, 8 families that would go, right? And all these kids that were like the same age. And I was like, this right here, you've got the lake, you've got the beach, you've got the golf, you've got everything you need right here on this campus, if you will. But then you can always step outside, and you're so close to, whether it's Harbor Springs or Petoskey, you can go down to Charlevoix. Like, everything is right here.
Well, you were typical, attracted by the golf. That's why you're here, is on your golf swing. But your first text to me when you got here was, I'm here. Deer Lake is really cool. So it wasn't all about the golf. It kind of that's what got you here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't what kept you here. It wasn't the first thing you saw.
It felt like a lot of it's honestly like a lot of nostalgia for me as a little kid who drove up to this area and saw all these things, and now to be an adult. And I think that for anybody who's listening, wherever you're at, and if you live in Michigan, you've probably been up here up north at some point. But this is really the opportunity where you bring your child here, and then your kid becomes me in my mid-30s,
right,
who now wants to be here.
Well, and we're seeing not just people from Michigan. You go back 10 years ago, and Michigan was the largest part of our clientele. But right now, ease of access for air flight and travel up. I mean, we've hosted people from all over the U.S., 48 states, I think, the last 2 years have come to play. Because of that, too, as far as timing, we have 3,000 beds. We have 10 courses. We can find something for you this year. But we actually started selling next year last week. So we are getting people that book a year ahead and are booking. Last week, it was 70% were booking this year, and 30% of the calls in after we made this available was actually booking next year's golf. So don't wait. You can book next year's golf to get better. I mean, the prices are lower because tee sheets and rooms aren't as full, so you get better selection and better pricing And you can still book this year, but you can also book next year if you're ready.
Ken, hit us with how do you go about doing that?
I think the best way to do it, to explore, is go to BOYNEGolf.com and then just call the 800 number that shows up when you're on that page. And when you do that, the experience agents will walk you through, because we don't let new experience agents work on golf. There's just too many options, too much movement around. None of the courses are that far apart. They're easy drives, but you don't want to make the mistake and think you're going to come off here and play there if it's a 20-minute drive to get there. So you tell them what you're looking for a golf experience, be it a buddy's trip or a couple's trip or a gal's getaway, and they'll help get you the vacation you want.
This man right here, Ken Griffin, he's the director of golf here at BOYNE. Ken, my friend, thank you so much for allowing us to come out. Thanks for stopping by. Let's do this again tomorrow morning, shall we?
Let's try that.
All right, my man. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Make it $1 million summer with over $1 million in premium play every Saturday now through September. 6 lucky players win $500 premium play every half hour from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Don't miss the excitement of $1 million summer. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Fuel up for less with M-Perks. Earn points on your purchases when you shop at Meijer in-store and online. Then use your points to claim a fuel reward and save at the pump. Your dollar goes further at the pump with M-Perks. Plus, earn points for all qualifying purchases in the Meijer Express station. And keep a lookout for exclusive Meijer Express offers. Enter your M-Perks ID at checkout to earn. Exclusions apply. Not valid in Wisconsin. Max 30 gallons. Download the Meijer app to sign up or see Meijer.com to learn more.
Bill Simonson here with a message from my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he's the new managing shareholder for Bean Garter. At the end of the year, they'll be merging with Doran Mayhew, and they'll be stronger together as one of America's top accounting and business firms. And speaking of business, if you're a business owner, decision maker, Bean Garter has retirement planning services in combination with Doran Mayhew that can help take a lot of work off of your plate. Third-party administrator for 401k and 403b plans. They plan, document, design, and have maintenance of all plans. They can help you today. Go to BeanGarter.com for more information. Annual employer reporting, Form 500 and 8955 preparation and filing, and compliance testing. So let Bean Garter help you with your retirement planning services for your company. Stronger together now with Doran Mayhew. You can find out more at BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com.
thoughts all morning long on the Meijer guest line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. A reminder to step into a world of nonstop action. Over at the DraftKings Casino, you can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy my favorite, which is craps. Catch a hot hand in a dice game. Why wouldn't you? And you can do it all at the DraftKings Casino. Right now, new customers deposit at least $5, get a match of your first deposit, score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Only at DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline. You can do that at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only, one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match is $2,000. Deposit and bonus amount required 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Let's go over to the Meijer Supercenter guest line. You can call us too, 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Or you can text us using the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21000. Let's get over to that Meijer Supercenter guest line. That's where we find Scott, who is on hold. USDA Scott is on hold. Good morning, USDA Scott. How are you, my friend?
What's going on there, Superstar?
Just hanging out at BOYNE, having a little coffee, doing a little sports talk, gonna play a little golf, have a breakfast sandwich, the usual.
The usual. Yeah, don't we wish? Don't we wish?
I really do wish. I'm telling you what, this is the retirement. I think that when for me personally, as a golfer, not much of a skier, can ski, can't snowboard, but can ski. Not much of a winter person because I get cold easily. I think this is going to be my mid to late April to early fall retirement up here.
There you go.
I think that's what I've chosen to do. And then I'll fly my private jet down to Miami for the winter months because I'll be a single guy at 60 anyways. So might as well live it up. I'll fly my private jet down to Miami when I'm, 60, 65, live it up down there, and then come back for the winter. Or for the summer, I mean.
Sorry about that. I almost killed myself here. Driving by a tractor up north here.
How far north are you?
I'm almost to Falmouth, if you know what that is, or you probably don't.
Oh yeah, I'm there all the time.
Lake City, north of Cadillac, that area.
Okay, all right. You're about 2 miles from me.
I'm not too far from you, actually.
Yeah, we're close. Cadillac, you're not far right now.
So anyhow, what I was going to say, first of all, talk about the Tigers. Riley Green. Tort. A lot of these kids are Br0's kids. You know what? You should give Freddie the statue even if they win the division this year, which is still a long shot. But he could draft. There's no question about the question that Avila could draft. He could see talent. He just didn't know when to get rid of it and when to grab the new. And that's why he's not there anymore. Everybody's got to realize that because he could see a team, he could vision a team, but he couldn't put together a team. And that's about as simple as it gets. No, I was going to say that Freddie sounds like he wants to challenge you. So I'll pay for the rounds if Freddie will take care of lunch. Freddie and I against you and Danny in a best ball.
I mean, in a best ball, how many strokes you need?
How many strokes do I need?
Yeah, how many strokes you guys going to command? In a best ball, not a scramble.
Best ball
is different than scramble. That's different.
Not a scramble. Best ball, and I don't need strokes. I'm not trying to fool anybody.
You're just trying to toot your own horn out here, Scott. I get it. We're all feeling pretty good out here, Scott. You know, I played the Bear yesterday. I played the Monument yesterday, Scott. We're feeling pretty good about life right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm ready. You know what? If you know, Huge is like, hey, I want to have a long drive competition. You know, let's see what you got, Bellino. I said, see what I got. What, you want me to build a mire between our golf balls? Like, yeah. I'm taking him out on the long drive. I'm taking you and Freddie out on the best ball. Freddie's bringing us lunch. Dan's gonna drive the cart and hang out and hit wedge shots. It's gonna be beautiful. You're toast. You don't stand a chance. What are you, nuts? That's why I said on Stokes, you probably need 6 aside.
I'd have said me and Huge, but I haven't played with Huge for, gosh, it's been probably 20 years with my father-in-law and Johnny Brand. And Huge is a decent golfer. Huge can play.
Yeah,
no question about that.
I'm sure he can, and I'm sure you can play too. It's the whole different animal here, USDA, Scott. Hey, I'm no chump here, Scott.
I didn't say you were. I just think Freddie might be itching for the chance to just rub it in for a year, even if we have the opportunity.
I think Freddie's just itching. I think Freddie might be chafed. I think I chafed him this morning with that running back talk.
I think you did. So I'm on Freddie's side, so I'm jumping in for Freddie right now. So I'll take the L just to give Freddie the opportunity to have the bragging rights.
I love that, Scott. God bless you.
See you guys.
All righty. There he goes. Hey, we're coming to you live from the Country Club of Boyne. It's great. Ken Griffin just stopped by. We're going to be here tomorrow as well. I just I can't emphasize this enough. And like I said, maybe it's a lot of nostalgia for the fact that, you know, my parents, we used to drive up here as a kid, and you know, it was did you get over the Zilwaukee Bridge? Like, that's where the up north, you know, we can always debate that on Twitter in the summertime when there's nothing else going on. It's like, what's really up north? The Zilwaukee Bridge. You get north of that, that can be considered up north for those of us from the southern portion of the state. But it's just great to be up here, and it's great to be able to meet people and to play the golf and to be able to enjoy everything that Northern Michigan has to offer. And I was just telling Ken during the break that our southernmost affiliate is Fox Sports 1230 in Toledo, which stretches almost about to like the Findlay in the south, and then about east to Sandusky. So to anybody who's listening to us in that range, if you haven't made the trek up here to Northern Michigan, just pull out your right hand, take a look at your palm, right? You can see your handy-dandy map. We're right at the top of your right ring finger when you have your hand map out, because that's what we do when you're from Michigan. You point to where you're from because you have the map right on your hand. It's very convenient. Right at the top of the ring finger. And if you were as far as Sandusky, Port Clinton area, you got about 40 minutes to Toledo, and you've got roughly 4 hours or so to get up here. And if you're down in that area and haven't made the trek to Northern Michigan, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So they'll welcome you with open arms, even if you have Ohio tags, which is funny because I saw somebody with Lucas County plates. That's where Toledo's at, Lucas County. They were literally right in front of us driving this direction. I was like, man, what are the odds of that? Let's get to Dave in Hudsonville. Wants to talk about tigers and stuff. I love tigers and stuff.
Morning, AB.
Morning, Dave. How are you, my friend? You doing all right?
Good, man. I'm glad to see you're working on a little of that media personality NIL. Taking advantage of getting up there and being a part of that stuff. Good work by you.
These college kids can't be the only ones with the name, image, and likeness, Dave. What about the rest of us hardworking Americans?
And
it's not what you can.
Than Huge's from a visual standpoint, I got to say. So I'm glad you're getting on that train and starting to catch on, man. Good work.
Well, thank you. I will not tell Huge that you said that. I will bypass.
Oh yeah, I'll tell him when I see him. There's no problem. He knows that. Hey, a couple different things. First of all, the Tigers find a way last night, but Nick Maton is not a Major League Baseball player, based on what's going on. Yeah. His confidence is shot, man, and he's just all over the place. And that's the thing, Hinch can do it when he's got some guys who can do it. But right now, they're still playing with some guys. The other guy get worried about his Haas. I love Eric Haas for his versatility, but right now, a lot of balls out of the zone for both of those guys, and they're losing their plate discipline.
Just chasing.
And so forth. Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
But
I really like Eric Haas.
We've got good young guys. If we can get some guys to surround our core, and what goes on. He's doing this with Baez having a terrible year and doing a terrible job and some other things too. So Hinch can coach. So he can manage, but it's just a matter of going from there. Second thing is, hey, man, your boy Hunter Dickinson kind of throwing down on the Wolverines from the whole Midwest thing. Did you see that?
We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and I'll just hop in right here. You got to look at the full context of it, and I didn't take offense to the fact that he said, like, Michigan is almost kind of fake Midwest, but Kansas is really Midwest, because all things considered, we are in the Eastern time zone. We're east of the Mississippi. Kansas is in the middle of nowhere. It is Kansas. Click your heels together. There's no place like home. Look, here's the thing about the Rock Chalk podcast and the Barstool podcast. He has, I don't know if it's Dan or Ryan who said it yesterday, he has a little bit of the kind of, I sort of want to be Travis Kelce media personality to him. It doesn't bother me with what he said. He said that the Kansas people are really nice and, Michigan people are sort of kind of nice. But you look at the full context of it, it didn't bother me of what he said. Don't really mind it. I think if I were Bill Self or if I were around him, how do we do more in front of the camera with less chatter? Because all I've heard is a lot of chatter, right? I saw a freshman All-American, and I got really hyped up, and I'm not dogging him because he's gone, because I said the same things during the season. Like, you're going to get 20 and 10, and that's great. And the offense was much better when Jet was not in there, so that's another story for another day. I don't need the arm dropping down between your legs celebration. I don't need the ski mask. I don't need the chatter. I need you to, in the words of John Beeline, do more, say less, right?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. That immaturity was apparent at Michigan. It was never really addressed.
I got to ask Uncle Phil. I'm going to have to ask him. Like, what was the deal with Hunter? Like, how did you not nip that in the bud? Like, what was the deal here?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And the last thing for you was, we're going to find out how good Aaron Rodgers is in a different context this year when it comes to the division he's in. So now Bills, Patriots, Dolphins. He had, if you look at it, a pretty non-competitive division for a long time where he was.
For his entire career.
Yeah, without question. And so not to say that he's not a great quarterback because you still have to perform, but at the end of the day, different animals now in that division. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on during the regular season for him. Yeah.
100%. And two things here. I want to go back to Michigan State. Ryan will know this. Michigan State's at Michigan last year in hoops. Was it A.J. Hogard who scored the first bucket for Michigan State, turned and said something to someone? I don't remember if it was on the court or in the stands.
It was to the bench, I believe.
To the bench, right? Because Michigan State, Izzo's on my left, and Michigan State's going left to right to begin the game. Hogard said something to the bench. Don't know what it was. Couldn't have been that severe. Got teed up. And Tom ripped Coach Izzo. I can't call him Tom. I don't know him like that. Coach Izzo ripped him. I mean, he went like fuse blown early. We're 30 seconds into the game, maybe. That is a little bit of the difference in what I really appreciate about Coach Izzo, because he's still old school in that regard. And I think that is necessary, and we're losing a little bit of that as some of the old guard starts to pass the torch to some of these younger coaches that are worried about your feelings and your NIL and your opportunity and all the shenanigans. Like, I don't need Bobby Knight throw a chair at you and beat you in the locker room with a broom, but at the same time, I do need someone that can enforce kind of a fear of God.
Yeah, well, this generation is 1, 2, 3. Look at me, on TikTok, on Instagram, all the different things that go on, and they want that whole thing to go on. And you're exactly right. And it becomes, hey, you know what? Don't. And Izzo's always been outstanding with that. About, hey, it's about the team. It's about, don't do this. You earn the right to come back at him. You earn the right to have a say in things based on how you play and how you lead. But when it comes to those other things about being on that stage and, making a fool of yourself, you're exactly right, man. He's all over that. Yeah.
And that's one of the things. And then, and secondly, to your other point about Aaron Rodgers, we didn't even really get to talk about this. I know I think I mentioned it Friday, maybe in the headlines portion, but Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets, the the bane of our existence here on this program. I don't know when and how this rivalry started with Zach Wilson and Freddie the Pizza Man. That's how this whole thing started with the New York Jets. Him beating the table over, the Lions got to draft this kid from BYU who looks like he's 12, got chased around with a broomstick on a pro day, threw the ball far one time, and everybody fell in love with it. I'm like, dude, you can't draft him. We didn't draft him. We had success. The Jets stink. They had to replace him. They drafted Sauce Gardner. You know what I'm saying? And now this rivalry that exists between X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network and the New York Football Giants. And now we got to watch them on Hard Knocks. I love Hard Knocks. I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
Well, and the last thing, too, it'll be interesting with Rodgers and the New York media. Green Bay is a sleepy, sleepy place, man.
Well,
And what's going to happen is it's just he's going to be under such a spotlight all the time that you're going to see him snap a little bit at times just based on just getting sick of it because he hasn't had to deal with that like New York any time in his career on a consistent basis.
Yeah, New York media does not care. Green Bay media, not the same. He got some heat nationally just because it's Green Bay. And you know what, to be honest with you, I'm really, although I don't care about the Packers, I am intrigued to see what they do this year and how bad Jordan Love really is, and if they have to go back, and if finally we can see that no, you didn't just draft back-to-back or didn't acquire back-to-back franchise quarterbacks in Brett Favre because Falcons, you had back-to-back franchise quarterbacks there for a span of 20-some years. Basically, my entire adult life has been nothing but Green Bay, the odds-on favorite to win the division. I think you're right. Let's see what happens in the AFC East. Dave in Hudsonville, appreciate the call this morning, my friend. Safe travels to you today, partner. All right, he's out of here. I'm in, Scott. Let's meet at Tullymore, says one texter. Danny in Brighton's on hold. Danny, we got about 60 seconds before we got to wrap things up. How are you, partner?
Always amazing. Massively jealous of your northern tour, but you know what, dude? Somebody's got to do it, right?
Somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to come here to BOYNE to tell the people about BOYNE, and I can carry the torch.
The torch away. So, a couple of quick things. One, Aaron Rodgers. I don't care. Is he? Do we play him? No.
Yeah, a guy just walked by me with a pallet full of beer too.
What kind of beer?
I don't know. I can't see. It's all shrink wrapped. If I'm not here tomorrow, you know why.
The other thing is, I do not care about Hunter Dickinson or Cade McNamara or Eric Hall because
don't be salty.
Don't play for Michigan. No. I don't have anything against them. I don't care about them. They are not playing for Michigan. So whatever you want to do. You did your thing. I appreciate everything those guys did for Michigan. I got to say, the one thing about Hunter Dickinson, to an extent, I did not mind his act because I think the rest of his teammates fed off of his villainizing. I do think he just took it just a twinge too far. But one of my favorite scenes of him was like when Tom Izzo was screaming at the ref at the Michigan State game 2 years ago because Dickinson is mouthing off at him. He's got nobody to stop him. And with that, fairways and greens, buddy.
Fairways and greens. That's all we do. No trees, no OBs, no fairway bunkers, no greenside bunkers, no ponds, no nothing. Short grass, no rough. That's all we're going to do today. The power of positive thinking, right? We have to control the left and right side of our brains. That's all for us. For day one here at BOYNE, we're going to be right back here, same time, same place, right here at the Country Club of BOYNE. Tomorrow morning, we will see you then. Until then, hey, look, I got to go catch the tea time. Talk to you tomorrow here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Find savings for all subjects when you shop back to school at Meijer. Start every day on a tasty note with Kellogg's or post-breakfast cereal for $3.49. And start shopping early with deals like select name brand and fashion backpacks for 20% off. And Crayola crayons or Elmer's glue for just 50 cents. Plus, get Meijer's 70-sheet notebooks for just 35 cents. Find it all in one place and for the right price at Meijer, where you pay the same low Meijer price no matter how you shop, in-store or online. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
There are 13 folds that bring the American flag to the iconic shape of freedom. This summer, Folds of Honor and Budweiser celebrate 13 years of changing military and first responder lives together. Service never stops, and neither will we. So join me in raising a Budweiser to raise funds for Folds of Honor.
Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. Hot winds and scorching July nights. We've turned up the heat, and one lucky player every hour has the chance to win up to $5,000 in sizzling premium play. Blaze in to win red-hot prizes every Friday, 7 to 11 p.m. It's Scorching July nights, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to the Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text golf to 21,000 to enter. That's golf to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com.